Were there moments where you were like, oh, this is frustrating?
Yeah, the first hour into the job, a 14-year-old is teaching me how to make lemonade in the kitchen. And this is during the pandemic. We're wearing masks and it's 90 degrees out because it's August. And she said, are you 18? I said, well, I'm at least 18, yes. And she goes, okay, because you can't use the cardboard baler if you're not 18. And I'm joking with my now wife. I said, I have to ask a 14-year-old if I can go to the bathroom. I went from a lot of responsibility at my previous company to, going through this red shirt boot camp and learning to make lemonade.
Well, a piece of what makes Chick-fil-A so successful, it's the people. It is like the person with the iPad looking thing, the tablet out in the drive-thru, like with a smile that takes immense amounts of pride in serving a lot of people really good chicken very quickly. What's the secret behind that?
I admired Chick-fil-A for 11 years before I worked there. In fact, when I worked in big box retail for Macy's and Target, we met at those companies every day at 3 o'clock, and we talked about three things: customer service, growing sales over last year, beating LY, and finding great people to work for us. And throughout that decade, each boss I had, the store manager would say, who's been out in our competitors? Who's been recruiting? Where are all the good people at? And I always said, they're at Chick-fil-A. That's where they're at. And after 11 years, one day I had this thought, I should just go work there. And then, I did and met Sam. Admiring the company for 11 years externally and now working for the company internally for 5 years, I've been able to boil it down to one sentence, which is this: for us, my pleasure isn't just a catchphrase. That's our moral obligation. That's how seriously we take it.
A lot of companies have core values, and a lot of companies write them on the wall but again, you're a 14-year-old. How do you get a 14-year-old who's making lemonade to believe that they have a moral obligation to serve their customers?
I would say this, whether Sam's here or not, but it really does start with local ownership, our owner-operator.
You're an owner-operator for 20, 30 years or whatever. It's even in your last year, you can't just let other people do the work. Is there a certain amount of hours you have to be on the floor?
I'm not clocking in or anything, but it's certainly the expectation, and it's a known expectation that we're there. We're in the restaurant, we're visible, we're present. One of the members of the Cathy family, Truett Cathy is our founder, so one of his grandsons was talking just yesterday about how frustrated he is with operators and corporate staff going into restaurants wearing sport coats. I've been wearing a sport coat every day for years and years and years, but John White's rationale was, I don't want to see them wearing sport coats because that means they're probably not scooping fries and they're not standing by the breading table and watching the breader make chicken. My counter to that is I've got plenty of sport coats with stains on them to prove that I am doing just those things in a sport coat. But
and at some point, your time is less valuable breading chicken than it is building a culture of people who are really good at their thing, right?
Sure. Undoubtedly, if I'm spending the bulk of my time breading chicken, I'm doing it wrong. But I should still bread chicken every so often.
Yeah, how did you manage that? The balance of, I'm not too good to bread chicken. It's not below me. Sure. But if I did all that, then payroll's got to get better. Whatever the other thing is. That's a tough balance when you want to lead from the front. But eventually you don't want to be the best chicken breader. You don't want to be the best at the drive-thru. If you're the best at all of those things, then it's actually, you're just not good at training, probably.
Yep.
No, that's
an
interesting balance to maintain there from the owner operator perspective.
Yeah,